at Babushi here in Abuja. It's somewhere around, that's the VIO headquarters. Came here for pepper, one of my vehicle peppers. So I came with the coupe. This is what I drove today. It wasn't actually the one I wanted to drive, but for some reason, something, condition made me to drive. Use this one today. So, okay, so let's see. Okay, so I think, so it's actually my 505 V6 that I actually started off with today. But I wanted to do this video so that people will actually understand what it takes to drive a classic car that has an EFI system. Because most people will not understand. They always condemn carburetor engine. Trust me, the model of cars, when it comes to EFI's electronic fuel injection system, you are better off with carburetor engine or system than EFI. So, so I started the vehicle. It started in the morning, first crank. So I was about to, I think I opened the bonnet. I opened the bonnet to check something. What was it? Remember I told you guys there was a time the fuel leaked on one of the fuel lines in the engine bay. That was on Saturday. Was it Saturday or Friday night? This last Saturday. So I was like, okay, let me just confirm there's no leakage again, that it's still dry. So while I was just looking at it, I didn't even touch anything. All of a sudden, the car attempted as if it coughed. That it behaved as if there was a oof. Okay, that's my microphone screen. So it behaved as if the engine behaved as if it coughed. Like it wanted to go off. Then suddenly it came back alive. It just did like woo. Okay, I think yeah, it might be very noisy. Let me see if I can sit down here. So he made an attempt. So he made an attempt as if he wanted to start, and sunlight. Okay, I think like this. Okay, as if he wanted to start, and he wanted to go off. Then he came back alive. So I was like, "What is it?" But I said, "Okay, no problem." So I continued. Entered, drove out. Less than 1 kilometer, the car stalled. Just, okay, maybe like 1 kilometer, something like that. It just stalled. It went off in motion, as if, you know how fuel goes off, finishes. That's how it behaved. I was like, and I was actually driving to fuel station to fill, top up fuel. The fuel gauge was pointing close to, it hasn't, I can't say it has entered zero actually, but it was almost close to that, almost at it. So I was like, okay, that was even yesterday that I drove the car. I was like, okay, I need to top up fuel in the morning. So, but I know if it enters that particular place, I'm supposed to still have about 15 liters based on how I've been driving the car, years I've been driving that car, so that's how that gauge is not necessarily that accurate. Those who drive 505 understand what I mean. So once you enter that place we call reserve, in my own case, I might still have about 15, if not 20 liters, but let's just say at least minimum of 15 liters before that warning, that orange light warning will now come off. So he entered it yesterday evening on my way home. So I said, okay, I still have about at least minimum of 15 liters, but in the morning I'll have to go and top up, even if it's 10, 15 liters. So when the car went out, I was like, is it that the fuel gauge is now faulty, that once it entered that mark, it means there's no more fuel in the tank? I was like, wow. So, and I was almost like a few steps to the filling station. I actually tried pushing the car by myself because it was a little, not necessarily slopey, but the car can actually move. One person can push. It will just be rolling on its own a little bit. So I was able to push it myself. You know, that's one of those things. So I came out, I'm a man, so I don't necessarily need to start looking or feeling as those visitors are passing that, hey, it's an embarrassment. Who cares? It's my vehicle. It happens to everybody. Every once in a while, your car will disappoint on you. So, so I pushed it myself. As I was going, somebody else now was passing and saw and decided to assist as well. So he came and joined hand. The person was actually coming out from the filling station. He bought a fuel in a gallon. So he now came and somebody just kind of distracted me. Okay, so eventually he put it close to the filling station. I was like, hey, just leave it here. It was almost in front of the filling station. Let me just use gallon. I put gallon, bought gallon fuel, just 4 liters. I was like, what I had was, I don't want to, buy more since it was just 5-liter container. So I was like, put 4 liters so that it should be enough to bring in the vehicle to the station. Then I can basically buy maybe like 20,000 Naira fuel to top up. So I bought 4,000 Naira fuel. I actually didn't look at whether it's 4 liters or not. Poured it, switch on ignition, boom, the fuel gauge made small move, a little bit up. So in that case, I knew, no, there must be fuel. Because I didn't check. Remember, the way the car stalled, the way the car went up, and then the level of the fuel gauge on needle on the fuel gauge. You know, common sense will tell you most likely your fuel has finished. Especially the way it went off. And it started it like 3 times. So it went off. When I see in motion, I cranked it again. It started, woo, went off again. The 3rd time, woo, it started, went off again. You know how fuel behaves when it finishes and you are trying to start the car. So the way the gauge moved, I said only 4 liters cool. No, only 4,000 Naira fuel, which is not even up to 4 liters because the filling station was selling for at 1,009 Naira or something. So it was less than 4 liters. So about 3 point something liters. So I was like, come on, 3 liters cannot make a move on the fuel gauge if actually there is no more fuel in the tank. So that's how I knew, and I opened the bonnet as. So I did a test. The short fuel was actually okay, I think I'm missing this. So when I now did that, I now realized that the fuel pump wasn't even running. So all that time it was doing, but it was like, before it cut off while the car was in motion, it was probably the last fuel on the fuel rail that made it to behave that way. So all those while fuel was not running. It wasn't coming up at all. So I knew, okay, definitely there's a problem. Went to, and now said, okay, it's not a fuel anyway. So now I know it's now pure electrical. Eventually, there are 3 injection ignition relays that will control the engine, everything that has to do with that EFI system. So I know one of them is what triggers the fuel pump relay, which is the MAF sensor relay. So immediately I touched the MAF sensor relay, boom, the fuel pump started running. Started the car, I was about to accelerate it because I don't know, maybe as I was touching the car, it started behaving as if it started bringing out blast smoke. It couldn't accelerate very well, but it started. I was trying to move it, just couldn't accelerate. The symptom was for people that drive cars with airflow meter. It was behaving that same way, as if the airflow meter was faulty. I was like, I could see blast smoke coming out. Just it couldn't start. I mean. To cut it short, eventually I was able to manage to take the car home, and As my way home, all of a sudden it started running well. Then before I got home, it went off again. I just kept doing that. Eventually, it got home. So, so two things. The first one I realized was at least the MAF sensor relay connector is having partial contact. Funny enough, that is the only connector that I see remaining. The stock relay connector or plug that that I see remaining on that wiring system or wiring harness. I've changed every other connectors. Actually, it's only that one I see remaining. So I was okay. I don't have time. I have to leave it because I was on my way to work. When I come back, now to repair the car refused to start now completely. Fuel pump was running. So it was obvious that it wasn't the connector anymore to the MAF relay that was causing it not to start at all. I was like, what is it again? Because the way I parked the car, I have not parked it the way it was supposed to be. So I was like, oh, why is it? Ah, man. I went back, opened the bonnet again. As I was just checking, I looked at the ignition coil. The ignition coil for all these older models completely different from what we have. This is one ignition coil that runs the entire cylinders. So I looked at it. It's okay, but the one it has two connectors. One has a positive mark, the second one negative mark. The one on the negative mark has two connectors there. One of them controls the tachometer. The second one what's it called? The second one is from the ignition. It's just one of the ignition system connection for the amplifier, ignition amplifier. So now the one that has the plus sign looked a little bit like the connector was a little bit loose. It has a plug on it. I pulled it out. It looked a little bit loose. So the way it was positioned there, as if it shaked and wasn't gripping very well. I removed it, used something, hit it in a little bit, entered. My plan was not with me on that at that time. The minute I put it, boom, the car started. I was like, whatever it is, I'm not touching you today. I just parked the car, took this one, I'm out. So this happened early in the morning on my way to work. So the reason why I'm pointing this out, see, if not because of me, the knowledge I have on that vehicle, trust me, you would have. If I called another person, maybe what they will do, because they won't even know what to do. They will just be cutting wire and there. They might tell you, oh, it's the ECU, because it has an injection ECU or engine ECU, just like modern vehicles. They tell you, oh, it's the ECU, it's the brain box, like Nigerians call it. Ah, it's the brain box. And before you know it, that will be the end of that vehicle. They will just start cutting, doing this, blah, 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 to see that. So if you are buying a car like 505, 504, if you do not have that technical know-how or someone that actually understands those car vehicle systems, I'm not talking about 406, 407, 508, 308, 207, no. I'm talking about 504, 505, 404 with injection system, electronic fuel injection system. But I know of obviously 504 had mechanical injection system. The what's it called? They call it K injection system. The German name K cog something. Trying to remember how to mention it. So those are mechanical anyway. But I'm talking about if let's assume you buy one they've converted to EFI. You have to be very careful if you do not have the tech, because this is not time you say you plug a scan to. Though there could be some kits now, EFI system kit you can plug a scan to, tell you what the problem is. But remember, this one itself, even scan to might not be able to tell you, because it has to be about relay or this. So scan to, even if it's a modern car, it might not even tell you that's where the problem is coming from. Trust me. Unless cars that have something like BSM system, that CAN bus system, like some 406 that is basically van bus, you won't be able to tell you this is where the problem is coming from. So trust me, you are better off with carburetor system unless you can be able to diagnose and figure it out. So it's not every car. Just because you see me driving this 505 V6, you think that you can also be able to drive and maintain the car. No, you can. Not everybody. Trust me, out of 100 persons that might be interested in that car, it's only maybe 2 persons that will be able to maintain and keep that car running for more than 1 year. So it's not a car you could say, oh, no, any teacher can figure out. They will kill it right away. Most of the 505 V6 they imported into Nigeria, they killed them within few months or so because of this kind of thing. Nobody understood the injection and ignition system. Likewise, in other African countries. So be very careful. For all these older cars, I will recommend if you go for the ones with carburetor engines. They are better off. They have simpler systems. They have only few electronics on them that manages the engine. When you talk about, is it not just distributor? Then if it has a magneto distributor, then it will have that ignition and module or amplifier. Then what's it called? Ignition coil, connection to ignition coil, then straight to ignition switch. Every other thing is that's all. That's all. Nothing else has been. You don't have any business again with whatever that controls the engine. This from distributor, there, that's all. So I just wanted to share you the experience and so that you know what it takes to drive a car like 505 V6. You know, these cars are now, the systems are very, I modified my own many times. It's no longer factory. The wiring harness, connection, so many things are modified. So to help me, to make it easier for me to be able to diagnose. So I'm the only one that now understand the wiring system of that car. A new person that drives 505 V6, even if you have been driving it for years and you've been running it, your own has been stuck for many years. If you drive out, you won't be, if any issue comes out, you won't be able to figure it out. So mine has gone completely off the factory connections. So everything now is here in my head. So so that's it. That's one of those things and one of those days. But you know, it's there waiting for me. So all I need to do now is I'll just go there. What's it called? I'll change the connector to the relay for the MAF sensor. That's manifold absolute pressure sensor. No, mass airflow sensor. Then I'll change the connector. The relay is still okay. Then the connector to the ignition coil, the downward position, I will just add another line, put on that second one so that, because they usually have two points on each end. So I'll just attach the wire that goes to one of the end on that positive line, join it together so that if one kind of shakes, the other one will still be running it. Of course, in the past, people will just put wire, tight it directly on the DC without using that pin, that slot. I don't like the idea because it makes it difficult or, you know, stressful to change the connector. If you are running a diagnosis, you know, it will be easier to just pull it out, plug in another one, rather than you start looking for two to loose, to tight. Okay, so that's it, and hope it makes sense. Like and subscribe to this video and this channel, and watch out for more videos. All right.